people are leaving. I never leave work. We're at the boss. The boss never leaves work. We're working 24/7 without a doubt. We got some guests in the house. We're gonna be talking a little bit of everything because we got one of the patriarchs in politics, but also in education of it all. So, and then also he brought his protege in here. He's real tall. He's real tall, but his protege, he's like his shadow. You know how short dudes have big shadows. I think he is his shadow. Yeah, that's what he does. Oh yeah, without a doubt, y'all. I'm getting everything together, coordinating. I'm trying to get the camera together. I've been receiving them on Facebook and LinkedIn. Thanks for the Twitter. Thanks for the feedback. We're gonna make sure that we ask some of the questions from you. Oh yeah, the boss listeners. So as we switch camera, you want to go automatic, even though it's manual. So we'll get there. That's what we'll be. There we go. We'll be interviewing. Take someone that has experience to get it done. And so play some music real quick. And since we got the patriarch in the house, we're gonna play somebody that he's familiar with. Oh yeah, and then we're gonna be right back with y'all. We're gonna go. All right, boss with us.
Wait. And on it goes. Yeah. It goes. You ain't know me, so I don't know you. Why you call me? Look at this place. You are no longer the center of attention in this place. Ooh, what is the deal with that look on your face? I'm working fake, I'm moving fast. I let my car move it fast. Life is just moving too fast. And then I crash. I end up calling my dad and telling him about my past. Yeah. That's all she knows. That's how it goes. Start with them other hoes. Sleeping with your other bros. Hoping the guy don't make the news. Close my eyes if you make. Yeah. It goes, and on it goes. Used to act like you ain't want me. Now that I'm taking, got you all on me. You know you act like you ain't know me. You don't know me, I don't know you. Why you call me? What would you call me? What would you call me? Please don't call me. No, don't call me. Don't call me, yeah. Fine, I'm great, I'm taking numbers. Putting stamps all on my passport, I'm making numbers. Yeah. Still on it goes. I would've gave you everything for road so much show, yeah. Know that you wish that you could turn the time, you would, baby. Even if I could, baby. Yeah. And on it goes, yeah. It goes, and on it goes. Used to act like he know me, don't know you, know how you call me. Never call me. You never call me, yeah. You never call me. And on it goes, and on it goes.
It's sounding good. For sure, my mic sound good. Okay, I think it sounds okay. All right. Give me a mic check. How y'all gentlemen doing?
Check 1 2 3 1 2 3.
Good.
I'm all right.
Heck yeah, I hear y'all loud and clear. All right, let me get the camera together. I forgot my stitching cooler. It's dark in here. We all time. You know what I mean? For this.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. Can't be late. I think school started this week. Doctor, did you start school? Are you still teaching?
UNO starts next Monday. OPS starts Wednesday.
Okay. All right. Omaha, Nebraska, the verbs, constant bloods. You know how these stars are. They got their own nouns, verbs, adjectives, prepositions, phrases. And this is on the topic of today, just relationships, race relationships, just relationships, period. You know, human relationships. And so we're gonna get right into a dialogue. I want them to introduce themselves, their titles, and then I know I got some questions that came in from Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, all that stuff earlier. City policies. We're not gonna talk about politics. Basically, city policies and how best you can and how can you activate their resources if necessary. All right. So, gentlemen, go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we'll get right into a dialogue.
My name is Franklin Thompson. I am the Director of Human Rights and Relations for the City of Omaha. I am also an Associate Professor at University of Nebraska at Omaha in the College of Education. And I am one of the pioneers of recorded music for hip hop and R&B in Omaha.
Okay.
And my name is Gerald Kuhn. I am the Assistant Director of Human Rights and Relations for the City of Omaha.
Okay, that's good. Pride in this region, so you know, I mean, I guess you gotta be an elder to let people know that you manifest your God-given talents.
Well, you've paid your dues.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Heck yeah, without a doubt. So is it beauty before bronze, or is it bronze before beauty?
Whoever you want to start with.
Okay. Well, let's. You represent the next generation.
Yes.
Now, tell us from your eyes. What do you see?
He's bringing me along, and he's giving me the space to be able to. He gives me advice to. He always tells me, I don't care what you think about, just don't be an empty-headed thinker and think be well-rounded. So I'm paying attention and I'm watching what's going on in the community. And I think what's missing is just, you said it earlier, building relationships. We need to build those relationships and get better. And in this capacity, we're here to just talk about discrimination. We investigate all allegations of discrimination as it pertains to housing, public accommodation, and education. Now, past
public accommodation. Well, what do you mean by public accommodation? You talking about like hotel or just regular dealing with a landlord?
Public accommodation as it relates to every citizen in Nebraska, well, federally, every citizen in the United States has the right to be treated the same way, or go into an establishment and be treated the same way as anybody else.
Okay. Doctor, I'm gonna give you another question. First of all, let's give a snapshot of who you are first, of who you are, what you've done, and how did you enter this position? Because I mean, you have held many different roles when it comes to politics, education, but also corporate world. I mean, just give us a snapshot of you. So for those that might be passing through and listen to the radio station, that they'll see the talent that we have, you know, coming from this community.
That first got Black history and multiculturalism in OPS. We literally marched on the castle, which at that time was at Jocelyn Castle.
and we demanded Black history. We were the first ones to do that. We were also the first school to have a senior Black principal, Mr. Odra Bradley. So it started very early.
Mm-hmm.
And then after getting out of high school, then I came back to OPS to teach. I taught at Burke High School, which is out in the suburbs. And I noticed immediately that those schools didn't have multicultural education. So immediately I was part of the first OPS curriculum team for writing multicultural education.
Okay.
And then from there, taught in several schools, one of them being Blackburn Alternative, although at that time it was called the ISC.
Okay.
And it was at Fort Omaha. And we literally had Crips in the morning and Bloods in the afternoon. School. So I spent a long time working with the kids that other people call throwaway kids.
Okay.
From there, I ended up going to UNO to teach other teachers. And then in particularly teaching them the mandate that the state has for you have to get diversity training and multicultural and race training in order to be a teacher. So I became the point guard, the UNO point guard for that.
Okay.
And then from that, I made a little noise by becoming the first person of color to win a council seat. My district was between Dodge Street and Grover, all the way west of 72nd, all the way out to Elkhorn.
Now, did you take advantage of the legislation?
Or then, right after my high school days, is when Senator Chambers, his honor, decided to make that change.
Okay.
And if you remember, Fred Conley was the first one that came from the North Omaha district.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So.
Because it's all white people in that area during that time. What year was this again?
This was pretty late, and it was still mostly 97% white.
Yeah.
I won in 2001.
I mean, how do you? Okay.
But a lot of it was we were taught at Tech High School to never say never and never quit.
Okay.
And instead of asking for somebody to give me something, we believed in Malcolm X's belief of you go out and you take it.
Right.
So I just literally hit the streets and convinced them I was the guy, and I took it.
Right.
And it was prophesied that I wouldn't get it, and people were surprised that I did win by 58%.
Man.
Yeah.
Man. Okay. Fine.
So I ran into that kind of ridiculousness too.
Okay.
But I also ran into old ladies. Old lady about 80 years old, and she said, I don't want you to just stay out there, come on in. So we came in, she gave me cookies and cocoa, and her last words was, go out there and give them Pegger Woods hell. I'll always remember that because she was from that
era.
She was from that like 50s McCarthy conservative, those Roaring 20 kids. They all hanging out loose and everything, So
okay.
She bonded with me, and it's surprisingly I had several that did that, but I also had several that told me, a black man could never win and that kind of stuff. So you just overcome it. You take what you're supposed to have in life.
Okay.
You don't wait for somebody to give it to you. You go take it.
Okay, cool. And I joke with my big man Gerald, but it's good to be in someone's shadow because. When I make an elder call, oh man, oh yeah. When you make an elder call, so elders get things done. Either with experience, for someone that have opened doors for others to come through.
I wish more people my age would do more mentoring, though. That's not enough going on. There's a whole lot of people hanging on to the offices. And they don't have anyone in the pipeline ready to take over.
Right.
That bothers me.
That bothers me too. Mm-hmm. That bothers me too, doctor. And then also security on return. But again, they still can give back and mentor someone, guide someone, teach someone. We have young people that need. Now let's talk about your current role.
Yes.
So did you get tired of politics? You just kind of just want to chill.
Well,
or hold on a second. Can we announce something here first on the boss? Can we something here on the boss? What about next year, 2021?
well, you don't have anything over anyone, but I will say that in some cases, politics is not ready for me.
Okay.
And then you've got both parties don't like me.
Oh yeah.
And both sides of town don't. So
Right.
something I must be doing something right.
Hey, no, somebody like you, man. I love you without a doubt. So,
but a part of the problem is that there's too many games being played.
okay.
Let me give you an example. Let's say there's something that we have to vote on, and there's this thing called the public hearing.
Mhm.
Too many of my colleagues, I found, they made up their mind 2-3 weeks ahead of time, and then they had to do was to take the people and bring them in front of the camera
Mhm.
and the microphone and listen to what everybody say, and then you change my mind. I'm gonna go with Team A simply
Right.
because they won the debate.
So did you take that? Because I like that frame of mind. Cause I always took that approach as a probation officer, so I didn't want to develop any biases. Did you do that?
Yes.
Did that approach because you didn't want to develop any biases?
That's right. You know, I spent a lifetime being pigeonholed and categorized,
Mhm.
so I didn't want to do that to the constituents.
Okay.
If a constituent was had a good point to make,
Mhm.
that I was unsteady or unpredictable or flip flop, and it wasn't that at all. It was that I want to hear everything A through Z,
Without
and
a
then
doubt.
after I hear A through Z, then I will make an intelligent decision.
Without a doubt.
That wasn't always appreciated, though.
Well, I mean, but that's the approach of it takes a village to raise. It takes a village to raise a child,
Mhm.
because the hierarchy listen to the whole tribe before they make an accurate decision. It's never from the top down. Decisions are made from the bottom up.
Collaborative.
Right.
You have to work together. What am I going to act like I know all the truth? Really?
Well, we know a true follower of God will now in your role now. You still got some hair. I see it. So how's this time been for you in your office? Because with individuals because they're at home, has things gotten better on your side because of this?
Gerald will weigh in on this too, but I'll start it off and then pass it on to him.
Okay.
For whatever reason, racism and all the other isms and stupidity doesn't seem to take a break. They doesn't take a vacation. Okay. Doesn't have enough money, and so they're going to try to get a little something on the side as their rent money.
Okay.
And that's illegal.
Okay.
So you know, and it just those things happen, and application, and it says Jose on it, and they don't get the house, and then he comes back the next day with another application and take the S out and it's Joe, and then he gets the house.
Right.
We see stupid things like that happening.
Okay.
Gerald, I'm gonna let you take it.
Okay. Hold on. One more time.
Mic check.
Yeah. There you go.
All right. So as far as the climate in Omaha, I just think that I'm gonna go back to my original statement: is relationships need to be built across the board. We know that we have a segregated city. We usually get along, and
Right.
we have a lot more things.
We're still cranking out the same amount of files that we cranked out before COVID.
Man, really?
No, welcome to the 95.7 Boston Afternoon Show. Councilman, I still want to call you councilman. You were 2 terms in city council. 4 terms. Do you think you working at that level in that district changed the perception of white people as it relates to Black people over those years?
Felt that it was deserving because I proved that a Black man can win out West, but also they said that I proved against the stereotypes. Now, the stereotypes are never real to begin with. That just shows. And I do believe the biggest effect I had was on the younger people, where the younger white students said, I don't know why mom and grandma are tripping, but we like this guy and he's okay. And once the kids start making a move, once the kids make a move, it seems like society follows. And that's even happening now with all the protests. We are in general. We're in McCarthyism, and we went into the 60s.
Okay, now explain McCarthyism, because you go into your educated hat. You switch your hats on us.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Hey, we try to keep up with you, y'all. Now,
Mayberry RFD, Beaver to Beaver. Well, that era, everything was very proper, very Eurocentric, very white, and nothing alternative was legitimate, was seen as legitimate. They even said that Little Richard and those guys was so straight-laced and white-oriented.
Okay.
But then the so-called beatniks and hippies rebelled.
Okay.
And so I think you're seeing a round two of that now.
Round two.
You're seeing a lot of white kids saying, I don't want to embrace white culture. I'd rather embrace the culture of my black brothers and sisters. And it's an interesting move that's going on right now, a dynamic that's going on. And you'll see an Omaha protest matter.
Right.
So it's an interesting dynamic. But one thing, those of you out in Radio Land, if you're ever a student of history, you'll find out these things are cyclical. It happens over and over again. But the cycle repeats like on a 50, 60, 70-year basis. So if you don't watch it long term, you miss it. Coming back around as we speak.
Why? I mean, why is it? Is it because of our educational system? Is it because everybody following the leader and not being trendsetters? Were we inventive? And
the younger kids, especially those that are white, want truth.
Okay.
And before, lies and smoke and mirror was fed to them. But the black hip hop community has opened their eyes to different truths. And then these kids are saying, well, sound like the truth to me. I love mom and dad and grandma, but there's some things that are going to have to change around here. So what's happening in America is that the browning of America, in terms not so much color-wise, but in thought-wise, our thinking and our speaking and our politics is becoming more brown-centric, more Afrocentric.
Okay.
And whites are making an open decision to adopt that as opposed to the old and the Mayberry RFD paradigm.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that, doctor. See, I like calling people a doctor when they get a doctor. You know what I mean? I like that. I don't want to use the SH, but I like that it. I like that.
That's interesting, though. That 10 years from now, what kind of changes would you see for the city of Omaha, or do you have any things in the working from your office to help with support this paradigm shift that you mentioned that is occurring right now?
I'll let you go first, and then I'll.
So could you repeat the first part of that question?
So with everything that's been going on now, if we were to look forward 10 years, how would you see the shape or the makeup of Omaha and as far as the mentality of the people? And then if there's anything in your office that's going on that's coming down the chute as we move into this paradigm shift? I
would say the outlook is good, just based on the relationships that are being built. You have, like Doc said, a paradigm shift. You have the who are rejecting the notion of those dynamics changing, and no longer is it West Omaha is just white people, and no longer is North Omaha just Black people, or South Omaha just Hispanics. You have commingling, you have true friendships and true relationships being built, and the different have classism. And so you'll still have the segregation of classes. And I think from a federal standpoint, they're squeezing out the middle class. And so now you have just either extreme rich or extreme poor, and fight for the right of people and race relations, as in we will be here to, it's written in our charter that we will fight discrimination in all aspects as it relates to public accommodation and housing and employment.
Okay.
Thank you. You know, we all do our best to project. And so my words are just a projection. I'm not holding it out there as the gospel truth, but we'll probably always have racism, and we'll probably always have two Americas. You're going to have an America that's accepting Martin Luther King's dream, and then you have this old that's trying to. I do see happening is that people who were formerly lied to and tricked are waking up saying, I don't want this anymore. And they're cross. We'll have Jesse Jackson's Rainbow Coalition movement too. And so the progressive thinkers are winning new converts. But I still believe that African Americans control the main agenda. It's not one agenda anymore, but we still control the agenda. Black Lives Matter controls the agenda, and then other things under that, some of what Bernie Sanders talks about, some of those other things are kind of under it. Mm-hmm. So I see it as we'll continue to have that war, but the other side is losing membership. Okay. The people who were in the middle, we're starting to win them over.
Okay. Moderates, okay. Is most unemployment problems race related, or have you guys broke down like the dynamics? Is it race related, or is it performance related? Is it some kind of sex related, bias related? You know, because all these different laws that's coming out, coming up with this new passage, but also the health department consider racism as
in most of the cases that addressing the first part of your question, most of the cases that we investigate, disability in the workshop or in the workplace.
That's the number one.
That's the number one. Mm-hmm. Number two would be race or color.
Okay.
Yeah.
And number three, sexism.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool. So mainly disability. Okay. Mm-hmm. So prior injury.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well,
so what about it though?
I mean, disability, because
it's money related to it.
When you become disabled, that really you don't need a color that affects everybody. Mm-hmm. You know, when you get older or you throw your shoulder out, if you're working at a lifting and then you throw your shoulder out and now you're no longer able to do that type of work, and then now somebody discriminates against you and say, well, we're just going to go ahead and fire you. Mm-hmm. Well, you can't really do that. You have to give somebody a reasonable accommodation,
right?
That will allow them to either go back to where they were, or allow them the opportunity to change jobs. I mean, if somebody gets hurt on the job, they shouldn't be terminated just because they got hurt. They need to be allowed to heal.
Okay. Cool.
Now, could that also be if people have medical issues, like a condition?
Oh, yeah, most certainly. Yeah.
Is that a part of the disability?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So are employers not adhering to the policy that the city has in terms of protecting people with their jobs when they have a disability or medical condition?
You know, it varies. Some organizations are more in front of the curb than others. And right now, I think housing is still catching up to, let's say, the corporate world. Mm-hmm. If you're in a wheelchair, things like that. And whereas the corporate world, let's say, I happen to know that Marriott Reservations, for example, was a leader in the Midwest as early as the late 1980s in letting people with disabilities work. So you have some that are people that are ahead of the curve. You have some that are still catching up, and real estate is still catching up.
Is that right?
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
Would there be more small businesses that you're saying they're still trying to catch up, or is it's a mixture of large corporations, small business?
If it's less than 15 people, then we handle it differently than when it's more than 15 or more. 15 or more, we use federal guidelines.
Okay.
Less than 15, then we do our own. We go by city ordinance.
Oh, I see.
And so it's like two separate tracks.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
You mentioned housing. What's the number 1, 2, or 3 problems with housing? Is it more?
By and large, it would be service animals.
Service animals?
Yes. So landlords or property managers are not willing or aren't as well versed in having an emotional support animal. Right.
That's okay. Service animal is the one being certified by either like an eye or hearing.
No, sir. A service animal is just an animal that helps you do one function or another. They have service animals that, of course, can help you see. They see an eye dog, but they also have service animals that can read your blood levels almost and understand your blood levels. And if you're getting ready to pass out, or I know that fibromyalgia, people have emotional support animals and service animals for just different varying diseases or ailments.
Interesting.
So you have the service dog, and then you have what was the other kind?
Emotional support animal.
Emotional support.
Yeah.
So these are animals that could be dogs, could be any other type.
Could be any type of now another type that could be a service animal, but an emotional support animal can be anything. It can be a cat, it can be a snake, it can be a peacock, a doctor's order, or a shaman, or any type of authority for an emotional support animal. But a service animal, you do.
So landlords have to abide by the city.
An apartment, and I have an emotional support animal or a service animal, I can't be charged a pet deposit.
Oh, so what type of pushback are you getting from the landlords? Because what if this happens after the resident is?
It's not a pet.
So they have to rewrite the lease, or to
Not
get
to
around the
rewrite the
language?
lease. They don't have
because
to
we're caught up on the language now. It's
as long as you can prove that they're a support animal, whether you get a certificate from a doctor or you get it online, you have the animal registered. Animal has to be registered as a support animal or a service animal, and then the landlord cannot.
So is the tenant responsible then, since they qualify under that category? They don't even have to notify the landlord, do they?
You do have to notify.
You do have to notify.
Okay, Okay.
So are you getting a lot from landlords in regards to
yes,
support?
But or quite frequently we do get a lot of pushback. But once they understand what the law is, fight it if they want. But our investigators are very, very good, and they're very educated, and they're very well versed in emotional support animals and service animals. So they investigate it, and if they find that there has been some form of discrimination, they will then we always try to conciliate cases before it gets to the end. But we can also give a right to sue letter to tenant and say, hey, it's your right to be able to go to court and to be able to
Tenants, is that a big problem also?
You know, it was never the number one problem, but it always raised its ugly head.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I knew someone who was quite high in visibility, and he was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go into details,
Mm-hmm.
but you'd be surprised at how many people try to trade sexual favors for rent money.
Okay. Okay. So, and we want to make sure you guys are aware of that. So, if you're a young mother and you might be struggling, and if you get any kind of pressure like that, what number should they call?
they can Human Rights and Relations Department at area code 402-444-50.
And so, I know young men might be getting pressure also. So, if anyone getting pressured, unrealistically, as far as because that's like what we had talked about, ain't that sex trafficking?
But it's taking advantage of someone's vulnerability, and they don't have the money, so you give it an ultimatum. But it can happen both ways. I used to be a landlord, and I remember a specific situation of being pinned against the wall by one of my female tenants, and offering sexual favors to pay for rent.
Mm-hmm.
I let her down gently, but it let me know that it goes both ways.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Oh yeah, without a doubt. Oh yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. And men landlords is best to go with someone else, because we kind of in a situation like Martine. So without a doubt. So just have your own back. I got a question all the way from Florida. All the way from Florida, my homeboy I went to college with. Shout out to King Watts. What's up, King? His question is, what is a realistic outcome for the push for change, and what does that look like for you? Because you mentioned that racism is always going to be around.
Yeah, I'm a believer that the realistic goal is to reduce it, but I'm not sure whether you can eliminate it.
Okay.
I'd like to eliminate it, but I want to be realistic and use my resources correctly. The paradigm shift that we're in right now is we're shifting to and philosophically. I predict we'll probably be there for at least 12 years and maybe a little bit more than that. And then those of you who are followers of history always know it's a pendulum effect. And then the rebounding effect is called reactionaryism. So, but for right now, you're going to swim to the left, and we're going to gain it back the same way that Ronald Reagan did.
Okay. Now, okay. So right now, should we be following the dollars? Because right now, I mean, there's all kind of grants. Should we be developing businesses, our own businesses? Should entrepreneurship, but should be the.
Again, this is I'm wearing my university professor hat.
Okay.
In answering that question, as opposed to my city hat. But unfortunately, both sides have good and bad, and swinging to one side to the other is you got to have more than just the overall platform. You have to have wise of it. So we have to make sure that when we're going back over to the ideological left, that we don't burn our bridges and get grants that are meant for the people, and then some of the money doesn't even pockets, charlatans' pockets.
Right.
So we got to make sure that this opportunity, as we're opening up society, as we're starting to open up the eyes of people, and we're getting paid. If we use it the wrong way, it'll help the reactionaries, the functional reactionaries, come back earlier than they should be coming back. Trying to teach us. Malcolm was trying to teach us it's far more than money. It's far more than integration. It's far more than sitting at a table with a white person. Malcolm wanted to love themselves.
Right.
We must love ourselves, and we must love each other, and we must promote each other. So we need to make sure that we don't always take our money out to the suburbs.
Right.
Spend that money right here in our own neighborhood. Those are the kinds of things that we have to do differently.
Right.
In this new time period that we're entering into.
And real quick, I just want to add a little bit more color to that. That was an excellent response, Doc. But I want to encourage everyone, and to answer your friend's question, to be more educated about about voting, about the democratic process. I want people to learn who you are voting for, and the presidential election just is the tip of the iceberg. You really have, in order to affect change in your neighborhood and your communities, you have to elect people to office that you have an interest in, and that have an interest in you.
Great. You guys don't deal with police relationships, do you?
Well, they come to me for advice, but I have no legal jurisdiction over what they do.
Citizens do not come to you in regards to citizens' complaints, do they?
They've been going to the Citizens Review Board, but there's been criticism that board has not been responsive. So the mayor's goal is to try and make it stronger. There was a time when I was against the idea of a police auditor.
Why?
I have now evolved, and I am no longer against a police auditor.
See, I like this about the auditor. See, he takes all the information and then make informed decisions.
Yes. And the reason I evolved is because it's hard for any entity to police itself. And if you don't give a board could work. It could work, but you're going to have to give it subpoena power, and you're going to have to give it investigative power, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's a lot of politics.
Is that has it been done?
I believe there are some places like Oakland and places like that who have better review boards than we have.
Okay.
Yes. But an independent auditor actually can get more done because he or she doesn't have to answer to anyone. And if you put it on the ballot, don't make it an appointment, a political appointment.
Right.
Just put it on the ballot and let the people vote that person in or out.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned just kind of the combination of what both of you have been saying. Dr. Thompson, you talked about Black people need to love themselves.
Yes.
Embrace their culture, love themselves, and love others. And Mr. Darrell, you talked about getting out and voting, and especially our Black people, because some more times than many, we tend to stay back. We don't vote. We don't participate in the election process. So with all of that said and done, what is the city doing to help Blacks love themselves? Not that they have to, but what are some programs that are put in place, if any, or some initiatives that may be launched to help open up the eyes of Black people? And then as far as it relates to voting, what are some things that are being done to help them understand that it is important to participate in the voting process and elect the people that you align up with, not just voting for them because they're Democratic, but voting for them for what they said they're going to do or promise the community.
Who do you want to go first?
You, sir.
Okay. I believe we're behind in the things that Malcolm X was trying to teach us. And even though I don't agree wholeheartedly with Louis Farrakhan, he's got some of that same things that we're ignoring too. Mm-hmm. And so I guess I'm a strange individual. I take a little bit of knowledge from everybody. I'll go right, middle, and left, and then eclectic, just put it all together. Mm-hmm. But we're behind. The schools are not doing their job in that area. We have got to do a better job with schools. We still have a problem amongst our own folks with skin color, you know, and so-called what good hair is and what good hair is not. And all of that stuff was given to us by the slave master and Jim Crow, segregationists for us to hate ourselves and hate each other. we've got to deprogram and reprogram, and we're not doing a very good job in that area. It's got to start at home, though. You can't wait for the white man to do that. We have to do that for ourselves. I wish the churches were doing more, and they're not. I'm sorry. You guys are going to be mad at me out in Radio Land. No. But right now, we are doing a whole lot of starry crowns, golden chariot, streets of gold, slippers of silver. And 3 blocks away from the church, gang members are shooting each other. And what we've got to do is go out there and grab those. We got to go to the schools and say, okay, how many of your kids are in detention? Okay, so visit detention and say, okay, instead of doing a whole week of detention, come one Sundays with me, and then we want to have just a special little Sunday class for knuckleheads.
That's a good idea.
Okay, and so with these principles, and then we need to grab. Until we get to that point, we're going to always be a little bit behind in that area. But I don't want to sound pessimistic. It can happen. You're just going to have to think outside of the box, be brave, be bold, and then tell the judges to chill. Because a lot of judges are going to clamp down on that stuff, but they don't want to deal with the kids we're dealing with. So if you don't want to deal with them,
that's a great response. Thank you, doctor.
And then a lot of times, like you said, before they get to the judge, I'm being a former probation officer
and within city limits. So I think the city is just a general guideline for all of its residents, and it's up to people in the community to put different programs and to put different resources in place to be able to help that disadvantaged population, because you're always in any city, you're going to have the haves and have-nots, but it's up to the community to be able to develop those. And don't forget, the judge position is an elected position as well. So we have to really start paying attention to judges' track record and really have community groups that pay attention to those things on how they treat individuals of color and not just add to the statistics that, because we all know that African Americans and Hispanics are sentenced at least 2 or 3 times longer than their white counterparts.
So we vote them in too, because they're on the ballot as well.
For the party.
Right, exactly.
You got devils in both parties and you got angels in both parties.
Right.
Vote the person.
Yes.
Without a doubt.
Absolutely.
I learned a long time ago by Sonny Foster, who ran the Nelson campaign. He said there's no permanent enemies, there's no permanent friends, it is only permanent issues. Yes. And so I stay focused on the issues. I read legislation on both sides of the aisle.
Well, I'm a conservative, but I won't be voting for the knucklehead that calls himself 45.
Right. Right.
So because right now he doesn't deserve to be there.
Yep, without a doubt, y'all. Public accommodation, that's the last area that you guys cover. What is the number one thing that you guys deal with in regards to public accommodation?
The public accommodation is a city ordinance that we enforce in the Human Rights and Relations Department. So those type of things would include, say, went into Havana Garage, or not, I don't want to call out a business. You go into a certain
business A.
Business A. You go into a restaurant, and you notice that there's a group of individuals that are being treated a certain type of way, and you notice that you are not being treated that type of way. Now, it all goes back to what you can prove and how that is enforced. Or real easy one is the disabled population. So if you have a step at a building and a person who's in a wheelchair is not able to have the same access to that building or same resources as an able-bodied person. So those are the type of things that we would investigate and we would talk to the business owners about.
Okay, so they got to pay it to ADA.
Yes.
Okay, which is the American Disability Act.
Yes.
But racism too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if you enter 12 restaurants and 11 times you get put in the back, you could seat it in the way in the back by the kitchen,
Mm-hmm.
you have to start wondering.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or if you come in, sit down, and then 3 other tables sit down, they're white, they get served first.
Okay.
And you notice that it's a pattern.
Right.
Or you got to call that stuff out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So those are the 3 areas that public accommodation, employment, and housing.
Yes.
That their offers cover. If you guys have any problems in those areas, sure that you guys get to know what they actually.
3 divisions.
Oh, okay. What's the other 2 divisions?
Another division is that there's a good old boy system in this town.
Okay.
And so the big boys always get the big pie or get all the pie.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a SEB program that helps businesses that are like minorities or poor people.
Small
emerging business.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And we want to make sure that they get a bite of the pie.
Okay.
So when we built the new arena, at that time we had a EBD program, and we could literally do it by race. We could say 15% of the contract of building the CHI arena has to go to minority businesses. Well, in 2009, affirmative action got voted down, so we had to pivot. And now we don't do it based on race, we do it on social economic earnings.
Okay.
So we happen to know there's a correlation between poverty and race.
Right.
And as long as we don't base it on poverty, on race, we base it on poverty, social economic income.
Okay.
Then we can still do the same thing and have a similar effect.
Okay. Now, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
However, when it comes to on the contract side, I think right now, before that law passed, was getting about 10% based off almost our population size. Now I think it's less than 1%. Isn't that correct?
We do have what we call an EEIP program.
Okay.
And that's for some of the contracts that it's not so easily identified, such as public works.
Okay.
So let's say an architectural firm.
Mm-hmm.
So we want those big firms in town to voluntarily, well, actually it's more than voluntary now, because they actually have to have a plan on file before they can do any work with the city.
Okay.
And part of that plan is to have reserved things that they can reach out not only to adult businesses, but reach back into the schools and help create a pipeline so that when the kids graduate, they can go into architecture, they can go into consulting, they can go into, drafting and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're working on that too. The SEB is a little bit stronger than the EEIP, but EEIP is coming up on the backstretch.
Okay, cool. And your last area that you guys cover?
Education. Yes.
And-
Educational outreach. For example, we would love both or one of to be one of our judges this next year. We take all the high school songs, dance routines, et cetera, having to do with social justice.
Okay.
And we meet at the Holland Theater on Martin Luther King Day. And we give away trophies, money. We inspire the kids to go out and be change agents.
Right.
And so before this, the city didn't get involved with schools like that. Now we are. We're recruiting young people to be difference makers.
Okay.
And each year we have a different cachet of judges. And I'm looking at 2 potential judges right now.
Oh, heck yeah.
And we the grand prize winner gets $1,000.
All right.
And then in addition, the school that shows the most social justice acumen gets a big trophy, and it's entitled the Martin Luther King Living the Dream Trophy of the High School of the Year.
Oh, great.
So is this open to all schools
Yes.
in the city?
Yes.
Okay.
First year Central High won it. Second year Northwest won it. And but there are schools that will be from Bellevue, La Vista. The only area we haven't cracked yet is Elkhorn, but we've gotten Ralston, we haven't had participants from Papillion, but Papillion brought a bunch of kids down last year to view it
Okay.
with the idea of going back so they can enter this year.
Okay. Okay. So they could be changed. They could advocate for it.
Yes.
That's good.
And what is the program called?
It's called the annual Martin Luther King Living the
The schools about this so that they can participate.
In the past, we have gone out to all local area high schools that we would invite. We extend the offer that we would come in and do a presentation to all of the classes or the entire school, or just maybe the music department or the English department. This year with COVID, with the pandemic, we've had to adjust and pivot like most people have. And their organization. And what we're doing is we're going to create a commercial and then just send that commercial out to all of the local area high schools and recruit that way. So now a lot of our recruiting will be virtual and be through word of mouth. Like Dr. Thompson was a little conservative with what we said. We give out about $12,000 to $15,000 in cash prizes that night to students in the Omaha area. To just express and themselves and in different various arenas such as vocal music, instrumental music, or dance. And I think that is just it wasn't happening. This Living the Dream music, poetry, and dance competition wasn't happening until Dr. Thompson became the director of this department. And I think that it's grown, and we have about 700 to 800 people participants every year. And it's something that is definitely a necessity in this community.
Nice.
That's working with the young kids, but we also have educational outreach with adults. We were, our department was the first initial group that fanned out and met. We reached out to the NAACP. We reached out to Urban League, Black Votes Matter, and we brought it all together. Now, our department purposely didn't lead it because we felt that the NAACP should lead it.
Mm-hmm.
But we were the first ones to instigate bringing everybody together. And we were the ones that did the Will Brown commemoration.
Okay.
Will Brown commemoration. And we will be following up with a marker placement down at the courthouse.
Okay.
We had to put that off because the company the two companies we work with, EJI in Montgomery, Alabama, and then a manufacturer in Ohio, because of COVID, things got pushed back. But we're going to be doing that one. And then next year, we'll also follow up with George Smith, AKA Joe Coe. He was lynched here in Douglas County also.
Okay.
And we don't want to forget about Vivian Strong and a commemoration to her when she was shot in 1969.
Okay.
Yeah,
So are these all brainchilds brain thoughts of you? Had it spurred from you? Because
the high school one was, but the one about Will Brown, that was started in Montgomery, Alabama, and then they put out through the internet a call for other cities to join them.
Okay.
So someone reached out to me and asked me to help pull that together, and I was able to recruit Vicki Young from the NAACP, and she is our unquestioned leader. And I'm one of her assistants that makes sure we get that done.
Great.
Yeah.
Gerald, give us a recap of what your office do again, and how can people get access to your services?
Not a problem. So we work for the City of Omaha in the Human Rights and Relations Department. I am the assistant director, Gerald Kuhn, and the director is Franklin Thompson. We investigate all allegations of discrimination as it pertains to employment, housing, and public accommodation, employment, housing, and public accommodation. And we also go out and educate employers about employees' rights and how not to discriminate against their employees. We also, like Dr. Thompson said, we also put on the MLK Living the Dream competition, and we also oversee the SEB program, the Small Emerging Business Program, where We take the mayor's goal of 13%, diversifying all of the city contracts. 13% of the city contracts to 14% of the city contracts to small and emerging businesses.
Okay, good. How has that program developed?
The SAB program?
Yes.
Let's see. 2 years ago, let me go back. No, 3 years ago, we had 19% was our goal. We succeeded our 14% goal.
Okay.
The year after that, we came right in at about 15.
Okay.
The year after that, we dipped way down to 8.2.
Okay.
This year, the trend is back up, and it looks like it's going to be back up in the double digits.
Okay. Is there a shortfall because you mentioned tech, and my niece was the last graduating class at Tech in 1984. Are we behind because Tech closed? Because the men that went to Tech had certain disciplines, far as welding, far as auto mechanics, they had certain disciplines that they could go into either the labor market, far as the labor unions, or they could start their own business. Has that hurt us?
It's hurt us. We always had potential gang members, but back in the day, those potential gang members went right out of high school, and then they went into to apprenticeships. And I remember the summer of 1972, people having a 12th grade education. And as an apprentice, they were making $13 an hour. There are people now that's not making $13.
Right.
And that was almost 50 years ago. So, and so by the time they get through the steps, the journeyman, and to the masters, back then they were making $60 an hour. So all that's dried up. It's all dried up. And then we're asking these kids to just go get a McDonald's job. They look at you and me and say, do I look like Boo Boo the Fool?
Right.
So the temptation to sell drugs is exacerbated by the fact that we don't have an outlet like we used to for those kids to be an auto mechanic or to be a welder or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Tech High was the best technical school between Chicago and LA. Mm-hmm. And that's not my opinion. That was the newspapers verifying that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And during World War II, they were so good at welding that the government actually had a contract with Tech to make airplane wings.
Man.
Wow.
Tech was about it. I already know. Yeah. But I was happy to beat you on basketball, though. I was happy to beat you on basketball. Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh
man. But that was in the later days. That wasn't in the 60s and the early 70s now.
And Dr. Tom, were you of Tech?
Yes, 1972.
1972.
The revolutionary years.
So what trade did you come out with?
Pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and journalism.
Nice.
Okay.
We're going in journalism.
Okay. Now those classes, woodworking and metals and all those classes were pulled out of our public schools. Is there a push to get it back in our schools? Because now it's about the trades.
Yeah.
Because they're dying because they don't have the workforce out here in the community.
Yeah. The jobs are there, but the
people aren't.
The people aren't there to fill the jobs.
And they're not interested too.
Yeah.
Well, I think it starts because they're not being pushed that way because everybody want to get a social degree or a bachelor or a master's. No one pushing for certifications.
Yeah.
Where they can, for a short
come
part
out
of time,
making $50,000 a year,
short period of time.
I have to give Johnny JR Superstar some credit because he wants to bring that back.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have enough support. He needs a whole lot more support.
Can we get some support from the city to kind of rally up the people? You're the city.
It's really, this might sound a little political, but it's really not the city's role. It is the State Department of Education.
NDE?
They have to bankroll that because you're not talking about The city can maybe give what, $200,000 towards it, but in order to get tech back, you need like a $5 to $8 million investment. You need to turn Benson into that school, or North into that school, or South.
Okay.
And in a minimum of $8 million investment. So it's the State Department, the governor has got to make that a priority.
I like that initiative title.
I like that.
Get tech back.
Mm-hmm.
Let's roll with that.
Yeah.
So
Get tech back.
So I don't know how much time you got.
Hashtag get tech back. I'm supportive of that. 100%.
I do want to get a CD. Give me a CD. But
I want to give a shout out to Black women.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
Okay. Number 15.
Now 15, and then also I want to talk some politics. Next year, I want to be announced here first, baby. I got to wrestle. Okay, so 2021, you got city elections, and politics is ready for you because if for a black man back in the all right district, that's 97%. They're ready for you now. And so
but see, that's why I'm mentoring this big guy back here. See, I'm in my grandpa years, and I'm trying to get these youngins. I'm trying to get these youngins ready for that stuff.
Hey, I'm a grandpa too, man. Hey, we still working. We didn't start working. No, but, I mean, but you still got a lot to give. Still a lot to give, and still teach. So 2021, your current I don't know, does city politician, are they term limited out there, and the city council people are
term limits.
No term limits.
No term limits.
Okay. So the governor's not running next year. I mean, he's term limited. The governor's term limited.
I didn't know.
Yeah, the governor's office up, baby. We need to run for the office. I'm advocating Dr. T run for governor. I mean, who better, man? I mean, for real, who better?
Well, I guess
honestly, I mean, come on, man. You got the stats. If
there's going to be a black man that can go to Broken Bow and give some support, I guess I'm that guy. But I really am concentrating, trying to get these younger people ready for that.
Okay.
And so I see somebody like a Gerald Kuhn as being the rising star, and I'm trying to get him ready for some of those duties.
Okay.
I still have a long way to go, Doc.
Well, yeah, right now. I mean, but Doc, there's a lot of office. You run for one, he still can run for another. No, you still do. No, see, I think.
But see, sometimes that can't be the king. You could be a kingmaker.
Well,
yeah.
Well, see, but again, the kingmaker is still the king.
No. A kingmaker can't be a king.
Hey, that's why the name Kingmaker is still in front. No, but Gerald, give your office. Give us again your number to your office. If you guys got a website, where do they go?
All right. If you feel like you have been a victim of discrimination, or you have a small business and you want to be able to get authorized to make to bid on city contracts, please give me a call at 402-444-5065.
All right. We're gonna take a break real quick. We played the excuse me. We played Dr. Thompson's daughter earlier. We're gonna play a track from him. You know, he's also an artist. He's like Paul Robeson. If you guys don't know who Paul Robeson is, Paul Robeson did everything, and he mastered them all. Smile, look at me every day. He looking at me, and so he actually performed at our first annual Boss Music Extravaganza when we first started our radio station, and so he's always been a part of our lives here at the Boss. He's always been a supporter, and so he got a track. We're gonna play it. And what's the name of this track?
Black Pearl.
Black Pearl.
Ooh.
Okay. All right.
Nice title.
I'm gonna get all this stuff down home. So we turn our mics off so we get no feedback, and then we're gonna turn the speaker up. Boss with us.
black women who also have a brain. You know, like this thing right here is for all the fellas who appreciate the important things in life. Talking about beautiful black women who also have a brain. You know, like your mother, your daughter, your girlfriend, people who help to keep you grounded. They keep you from going astray. Black pearl, pretty little girl, you've been in the background much too long. Black girl, beautiful woman, let me put you up where you belong. Once upon a time in the Liberty Bird, there was a certain law that was rude and absurd. First there was slavery and then Jim Crow. Stealing your pride was the lowest blow. But girl, you were strong enough to be the backbone of your community. Working so hard your whole life through, raising other people's children. And don't forget about Barbara Jordan, Shirley Chisholm, Diane Carroll, Vanessa Williams, Halle Berry, Oprah Winfrey, Condoleezza Rice, Michelle Obama. Black pearl, pretty little girl, you've been in the background much too long. Black girl, beautiful woman, let me put you up where you belong.
Well, I'm sick of your attitude, I'm sick of the games, and I'm sick of your lines, and I'm sick of you lames. Sick of the game that you try to pin on me. Hate discriminating cause you ain't me, taint me, you paint me a different color. Clone me cause you're never gonna find another. Jay, classy, but I'm undercover, cause I still knock you out and leave you for your mother, okay?
My daughters, they can do no wrong. They're the definition of superstars. My wife and my mother are strong. They have brought our family so very far. I'll give you all the reasons I would never ever leave you, girl. You got my heart. I'll give you all my love and golden woman, cause you know you are a superstar.
Ooh-wee, look at Miss Jane with a coke bottle shape, what a beautiful frame. Plus, she got a beautiful name. What a pretty little face, I'm digging the man. Yeah, words can't describe what I saw. The only words that came to mind was ooh la la. Personality real good, but she's a little too modest. But she honest with the body of a goddess.
Looking thing, she's a mighty fine, sweet little thing. Don't wanna hear none of that yang. Just wanna kiss my game. She's a mighty fine woman and she's off the chain. Ooh, la, 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 yeah, shell, oh, la. Give me that coconut root beer lifesaver. Coke, I love the banana flavor. Asian, Malaysian, Eurasian. I don't believe in discrimination. Don't let it phase you, shock and amaze you when I say I'm down with Chocolate Nation. Black pearl, pretty little girl, you've been in the background much too long. Black woman, beautiful and true. Don't you know, girl, that I love you?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you know that the director had got some rhythm.
You got a mic on?
Okay, yeah, y'all.
Black Pearl, that was Black Pearl.
Yeah, Black
Omaha.
Pearl. Yeah.
Nice. I like
Oh,
that.
heck yeah.
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
like
Oh yeah,
that.
we're gonna have to put that. We're gonna put that in the. We'll put that in rotation, y'all, because we,
Yeah,
you know,
thank you.
I mean, the only way we would change the paradigm, you know, because we need some positive, you know, thoughtful music,
Yeah.
you know, to move people in a different direction.
Right,
I like that.
That song helps me love myself. Black Pearl.
Heck yeah,
That's
without-
right.
Yeah.
That's
We,
what,
we got enough songs that talk about negative stuff.
oh yeah, without a doubt.
We need
Heck
some
yeah.
positives.
Without a doubt, I love it. And then I see the collaboration with the young.
Yes.
Heck yeah, heck
Right,
yeah.
right. Professor, that was, you still at it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Still doing it.
You're still doing it.
All right. So
Wow.
hey, see, I told y'all don't retire. How you gonna retire in life? You still making hits, and eating grits. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Without a doubt.
I know all about grits.
Okay.
Heck yeah. That's what keep you young, man. I know that's keep you young. Without a doubt. And then also shouts out to I just want to give shouts out to your family, your beautiful wife, your beautiful children.
Yes.
And so you always let me sit with you guys. I appreciate it. I got a seat. Without a doubt. So, anything? Host, ask the question. 2021. Are you?
Well, right now I'm in the mindset of pushing the younger Black people to get ready.
Okay, so you're gonna be around though. You're around.
I'll be around, but
Okay,
I'm
okay.
kind of doing the mentoring thing right now.
Okay, all right. So when you're around, that means you know you're around. Martin, you know how former basketball players, they're around the game, but they still be shooting. And they still be talking smack. Just in case somebody want to just they're shake too and stuff. Just in case they got to enter the game. You know what I mean?
Stay
I ain't
ready.
mad.
Stay ready.
He's staying ready. Yeah, he got to get ready. You're right, Martin. That's right. Okay, so he's staying ready. So I see how you doing. You're doing from the backside. Doing it from the backside. All right. Cool. Omaha, Nebraska, the Birds, the Bluffs. We've been blessed to sit with Dr. Thompson, former councilman, current professor at UNO. You got so many hats. You got so many hats.
Producer of
music, mentor of the next generation. So, man, we appreciate all you have done. I just want to let you know that you are necessary. So, if anytime someone get mad at you, let them know how necessary you are. Just so they don't get mad at you just a little.
That's
Without a doubt. I guess God bless those that's working for him. You know what I mean? You are working for him. Without a doubt, you have done some incredible things which let other people aspire to do the same. We're blessed here in the Boss family to get a grant to build a Wi-Fi network on the Indian reservation.
Such outstanding.
Which is that's never been done. Which, man, you can't do that. Can you a Negro from your time plantation? You can't do that.
You make a history, King. You make a history.
And so we want to make sure that we continue to be the examples of things that we can accomplish when we put our mind to it.
That's right.
So keep doing what you're doing. You are necessary. Without a doubt, you are necessary. Anything else that we didn't say that you want to get across? Or Martine, any question that you want to?
I just want to reference back to your story about the 80-year-old woman that invited you in and fed you cookies and milk and how she said, let's just, she encouraged you to get out there and do it and let's go, let's get it. So I just want everyone to understand that there is a paradigm shift going on.
Yes.
And we're going to have to love to embrace each other, white, black, brown, it doesn't matter what color, but we're going to have trendsetters, trailblazers out there that's going to be, making a difference. So I encourage everyone, if that's you, get out there, get at it and don't look left or right, just keep forward.
When I was, it was black and white. Now it's knucklehead versus critical thinkers.
Nice. I should have known, Professor, you'd put your educator hat back on and leave us with that last word. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming in to 95.7
Thank you for having me.
You are welcome.
Omaha, the Burbs, the Bluffs. We appreciate you guys chiming into this special candid conversation with Dr. Franklin Thompson, Councilman Franklin Thompson, a human rights director?
Human rights and relations.
Human rights and man, they got lots of long title. With all those doggone syllables, Martin had to say that, doctor. I have hard problems with the English language.
Human Rights and Relations Department. We appreciate you.
Thank you. See how the teamwork is? Sometimes you gotta yield. You gotta yield if you don't have that strength. All right.
Sometimes you gotta listen to the woman.
Right now.
Happy wife, happy life.
Thank you. Right now.
That's a tip for you men out there.
Hey, listen, y'all. Listen. So, hey, you see how I yell real quick?
We have a comment before you leave, Dr. Thompson. Jocelyn Bray. Hi, Jocelyn. She says, thank you for your awesome work and dedication, Dr. Thompson.
Yes, and thank you, Jocelyn, for being not only a woman of God, but someone who hasn't forgotten the Black movement and the Black struggle. She's been in the game for a long time.
That's right. She sure has.
Without doubt. And shouts out to her. She got a church over in South Omaha. I think she's still over there. Just right off of, is that Q? 32nd and Q? Yep. And so if you guys get a chance to visit her right by the Southside Terrace over there. All right. She's praising our Lord over there. All right.
Amen.
The Burbs, the Bluffs, Omaha. We are out of here. Boss with the show.
Boss with us.
Have you done your part in the fight against COVID in Nebraska? All Nebraskans have a role to play. Visit testnebraska.com and you can take the short assessment to help the state direct testing resources to the places they're needed the most. The Test Nebraska system will help health experts assess the need, test at a higher capacity, and trace the positive cases. Visit testnebraska.com to join the effort today.
Are you in the market for a quality used car, truck, SUV? Well, come on down or go online to Omaha's choice in quality used vehicle, TN3 Auto. A trusted leader in selection, quality, and value. TN3 Auto has a selection of vehicles to fit any budget, and trade-ins are always low. Financing is available for all types of credit, and you'll be treated like you're one of the family. Come on down to TN3 Auto. 102 North 30th Street. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And closed on the Lord's Day. You can also online and get pre-approved at www.tn3auto.com. Once again, that's 3702 North 30th Street. Or go online to tn3auto.com. That's www.t, the word and number 3.
It's just a public service announcement.
Are you tired of hearing about the coronavirus? Well, it's real.
I'm telling you, it's real.
That's what I want you all to do for me. Check this out, man.
Don't panic. If you're sick, stay home.
Stay away from me. It's contagious.
Stay at least 6 feet away from others.
The most dangerous disease. Coronavirus.
Wash your hands frequently and practice good hygiene. Informed.
Coronavirus. Just get it real. Don't believe the hype.
In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves, others.
Don't believe the hype.
Work from home with North End Teleservice. If you have customer service experience, quiet place in your home or apartment, we have immediate work from home opportunities. Go to northendteleservices.com and apply right now. Training starts next week and you can be earning $13 to $14 per hour. Start as you work from home. Complete an application online at northendteleservices.com and you can start earning at home. North End Teleservices is a proud supporter of 95.7 The Boss.
Have you joined the effort to help Nebraska fight COVID-19? All Nebraskans have a role to play by taking part in the Test Nebraska Challenge. Visit testnebraska.com and you can take the short assessment to help the state direct resources to the place. Visit testnebraska.com to join the effort today. That's testnebraska.com.